Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about how to chain an external 12-volt lithium battery to your Goal Zero Yeti lithium and really extend its runtime or just charge it up. Let's go. So a couple of months ago, I picked up this lithium iron phosphate 100 amp hour battery. So that's got 1,280 watt hours of really high performance battery made by Expert Power. And I got a pretty good deal on this, and I have another video I'm going to use to get into the details of it. But when I got this battery, one of the first things that came to mind is the 12 volt car charger. And about a year ago, I had a video where I hooked up the car charger to this lead acid AGM battery and used it to trickle charge my Yeti. Now it did work, and it's pretty cool, but the problem with lead acid batteries is there's quite a bit of a voltage sag. So what ended up happening is this thing would cut out after, say, 45 minutes or an hour, and it really couldn't nearly charge my Yeti all the way. So although it wasn't perfect, it was intriguing. And there were tons of comments and really a lot of interest in this technique in this video. And I always promised that I would do a follow-up video when I had a large lithium battery to test with. And today is that day. Now this Expert Power battery is nothing special. This technique will work with any large 12 volt lithium battery, say a Battle Born or Renogy. And a lot of the techniques should work with other solar generators as well. So I encourage you to try that out. Now I already had one of these car chargers, but you know what? I picked up a second one because I'm hoping that I can actually run two of these at the same time and charge the Yeti very, very fast. And these car chargers only run about $40 a piece, so a pair is $80. And for that investment, I'm hoping I can charge the Yeti at 240 or even 250 watts, which isn't too bad. Now, to safely connect these to the battery, I'm using these NOCO connectors. So they have just standard ring terminals on one end and then female cigarette lighter on the other side. And it is fused with a 15 amp automotive fuse. So hopefully that's nice and safe. So all I have to do at this point is just install those two onto the positive and negative terminals of our battery, and we'll be ready to start our test. All right, so now that we have the wires attached to the battery, hooking this up is super easy. All you have to do is just plug each of these car adapters into the female cigarette ports, and we're ready to go. Now on each of these units, there's a 5 and a 10 amp switch. In this case, because we have a big burly battery, we're going to go for the 10 amp, and we're going to plug one into the PWM on the front, and there's another 8mm PWM input inside the top cover. And moment of truth, how much power are we going to get? Boom, look at that. We are charging our Yeti at 241 watts. Which is pretty darn fast. So this will fill up my Yeti in just 4 hours. Now, if you don't want all that clutter, you can actually use this 4x 8mm to Anderson power pole combiner cable, and you just plug the 8mm in, and then you have one tidy input that you can plug in to the front that's labeled APP for Anderson power pole. So I'll plug that in here. And you'll see it's basically the same amount of power, but just a different way to hook these things up. And if you had solar, you could actually plug a couple solar panels into those other 8mm inputs and be charging through this battery and solar at the same time, which is pretty cool. So now that we know the basic mechanics do work, the next question is, can I completely charge my Yeti from 2% all the way to full by using these two car chargers and my new external lithium battery? I hooked everything up the way it was the day before, and well, it was working, but I wasn't getting the 240 watts that I had. This thing was kind of low and I couldn't quite figure out what was going on, but I decided just to let it roll and see what was happening. And here's a little time lapse. You can see it going from 2% and it's going up steady, but you can see it's basically around 100 watts or so. And then I remembered that the day before, with all the plugging and unplugging, I had actually blown a fuse. And so if you take the tip off the little car adapter, you'll see there is a glass fuse. It's a 250 volt fuse rated at 15 amps. And I didn't have 15 amps. I only had a 10 amp fuse. And I had thrown that in there thinking that would be okay because it's a 10 amp setting. But that was actually the thing that was limiting my power. So once I dropped in the correct 15 amp fuse, everything was back working as it should be. So be careful plugging and unplugging. It's really easy to get a little surge and blow one of these fuses. If you're finding the car adapter is not working, that's probably the culprit. So with the correct fuse in there and both of the units set to their 10 amp setting, you can see we're now rocking 220 watts and the Yeti is currently at 30%. So we've already filled it up 28%. And so I just wanted to do a quick time lapse showing you it charging from the 30s up through the 40%, 50%, and into 60% and beyond. So this, charged very smoothly. There were no problems at all. And once we hit this point, I wanted to do a little heat check. These adapters can get a little bit warm. And so after putting out all of this power for a couple hours, the cords were getting pretty warm. They definitely weren't dangerously warm, but they were pretty hot. And I realized that it probably isn't a great idea to have all the cords bundled up like this. So at this point, I just took off the Velcro straps here and let them air out a little bit. So that's something I would recommend. Unfortunately, these Goal Zero car adapters use really, really thin wires and they can get a little warm. I actually think the smaller gauge wire is on purpose to prevent too much current from being pulled down. That's really the whole purpose of these adapters. And once the Yeti reached around 80%, it started to reduce the amount of power that it needed. And this is typical of all battery charging cycles. At the end, things start to slow down because of the stadium effect. And so perfectly normal. However, you're starting to see when we start hitting around 94, the car chargers start lighting up red occasionally. And then finally, they're both dead. So that just means that our battery has finally run out. And the car chargers now have red lights on them, which mean they're not getting enough voltage. And to confirm that, I plugged in this meter and yep, it's reading 12.1 volts on the lithium battery. So it is definitely depleted. And now the interesting thing is you're going to say, wait, it only charged to 94%. What's up with that? It didn't do the job. Well, it's actually Goal Zero's problem. You'll notice it's 94%. And then when I turned on the inverter, it jumped to 96. And then I plugged the load in, it went up to 97. Goal Zero, just fix your stuff, man. The meters on these things are way off. Mine rarely ever gets up there. I took this photo of it at 100%, which have randomly happened when I put a really big load on it. But most of the time, it really just goes up to, say, 94, 93%. And just to be super sure that this is full, I plugged in my 4 wall charger supercharger setup and just to see if I could put any more energy into the Yeti. And it ran for a few minutes, but the total percentage displayed was still 94%, aka 100%. So I will call this a success. I'm thinking that this really did completely fill my Yeti from 2% to 100%. And so, that's great news. Basically, I can double the capacity of my Yeti by using this external battery. And just as an aside, I think it's really impressive that these 2 small plastic boxes can put out the same amount of charging power as 4 traditional wall bricks. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with this little setup. So now we know we can fully charge the Yeti with an external battery, but I actually don't think that's the way I'm going to really use this. So what I wanted to do is some real world testing with a full-size refrigerator to really get a sense of how I can use this to prolong the amount of time I can run large appliances on my Yeti. So I have a large KitchenAid 36-inch counter depth refrigerator. You can see the energy guide information here on the fridge. And so what I wanted to do is use my home integration kit that I bought from Goal Zero, and this is wired right into the refrigerator circuit. So I can very easily hook my Yeti in from the basement and power the fridge as well as a whole bunch of other circuits in my house. So to start this test, what I wanted to do is begin with a Yeti that's 100% charged. Today it's cooperating and it's actually reporting 99%, which is pretty good. And so I cleared everything out and just plugged the fridge circuit in directly to the Yeti. So I just wanted to do this as a baseline to get a sense of how long the Yeti will power this really large fridge. And unlike other appliances like a TV or a fan that use a steady amount of power, a fridge will have a big surge and then it might be running at say 1 to 300 watts here and there. And then sometimes it's basically using no power at all. So you really have to measure this over time to really get a sense of its power consumption. And so I watched this and finally I ran it all the way down to full 0%, and that took 14 hours. And all told, the Yeti put out 824 watt hours, which, is pretty far shy from the 1000 it's rated at, but that's our baseline. So what I did is I fully charged the Yeti back up to 100% again, and I made sure that my lithium iron phosphate battery was also fully charged. So both are ready to go. And so what I'm going to do in this test is I'm going to basically provide just the right amount of energy from my external battery to keep the Yeti essentially around 100%. So I'm not trying to fully charge the battery. I just want to sort of use this external battery first. And then when that runs out, I can then use up the Yeti's battery. So by matching the input and output, I will be able to hopefully maximize. So with the fridge plugged in, once it started kicking on, it was actually averaging closer to 110 watts or so. And that, again, that's not continuous. So most of the time it's cycling off. And so what I decided to do in this test is actually completely unplug one of the chargers and set the other one at only 5 amps. My hunch being that if the fridge is on half the time, that's roughly 60 watts. And I just let this thing go, and man, this thing lasted forever. Finally, 22 hours later, I came down and I noticed that the charger was dead, which meant the battery was finally dead. That had put out 1,305 watt hours. And so now with the Yeti alone, it made it all the way out to 32 hours and it still was at 20%. So I guess this thing would last at least 36 hours, no problem, by using both of these together, which is significantly more than the 14 hours I got with the Yeti all by itself. So pretty massive increase in runtime. Let's talk for a moment about charging this external battery. I'm going to do a whole video on this Victron charger that I bought for it, which is really a great product. Now, what you could do is, let's say that the Yeti was being charged either by a combination of solar panels or a generator or the alternator in your car. You could always charge up this external battery by just plugging this charger into the AC port. And then you can see I'm charging the Yeti at 200 watts and I'm outputting 200 odd watts to charge the external battery with this charger. So they're about even. And so at this rate, it would take a decent amount of time to charge both of them. But that is the easy way to do it. There are going to be some AC losses. So if you can, a DC to DC charger would be ideal, where you could actually plug that into the DC output on this and charge the battery without ever going into AC land. So we know now that we can use an external battery to charge the Yeti, but could we actually use another solar generator and use this technique to charge the Yeti from that? So I have this Blue Yeti AC50, and that has a 12 volt output. It's unregulated though, so it's probably not going to work as well as I'd hope. And so I just plugged the car charger into it, and I accidentally left it at 10 amps to start the test, and it was only putting out 20 watts. But by switching it to 5 amps, it jumped up to 72 watts, which is really pretty decent. Now I got curious. Could I use the 10 amp setting on this thing? So I went ahead and flipped the switch, and well, the output dropped to 0. And on the AC50, it was displaying an error code 27. So you got to keep in mind that it's really easy to overload the 12 volt output on popular solar generators. And once I tripped this error code on the AC50, it actually took a lot of fiddling around to try to get it to work again. Finally, it did come back online. And I was able to measure 12.4 volts on there, and I was able to plug an appliance in there, and it worked. But you got to be really, really careful here. And after I tripped the error code 27, the car charger actually never wanted to work again after that, even on the 5 amp setting. So I would say this failed the test. I wouldn't use this as a way to charge my Yeti. But what about the other way around? Could I use my Yeti to charge the AC50? So because the Yeti doesn't have a regulated 12 volt output, we're going to use this Goal Zero regulated output cable and connect that into the car charger. So now we've got an 8mm output that should work based on the voltage of the AC50. Now plugging it in, I was getting nothing. So it could be that that cable doesn't quite fit perfectly. So to test out whether that car charger wasn't working, I found the original AC50 car charger. I plugged it in and nothing happened. So I double checked the voltage on the output, and it is 14 volts, which is the minimum that the AC50 needs. So why wasn't it charging? So I plugged it into the wall, and it did charge fine from the wall charger. And then you'll never believe it, I didn't check the fuse. So the car adapter had a blown fuse. Always follow your own advice. So once I dropped in a new 15 amp, 250 volt fuse, I was back in business. So charging from the Yeti to the AC50 did work, but it really wasn't charging super fast. I'm not sure if that's a limitation of the AC50 or the technique. So the real question is, can you use the Yeti's output to charge it on the input? This makes no sense, I know, but it kind of works a little bit. I have no idea why you'd do it though. So don't do it. So to wrap up, I think this technique is a success. I was able to fully charge my Yeti from this external lithium battery, and even better, I found that if you trickle charge your Yeti while it's under load, you can really extend its life, much like how the Goal Zero tank works. So leave a comment with questions or ideas. Please let me know if you try this out yourself and if it works for you. And just want to say thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you don't already. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. Thanks for watching.